Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. I want to thank everybody for generosity out there, joining the Prepared Mind Network at thepreparedmind.club and subscribestar.com. Welcome everyone. I think we're in a growth phase. In fact, I think we're in a fighting phase. We're all fighting back. In fact, it is government and corporations that are battling against us, me and you. In fact, now Kansas City, the city of, is under investigation for the alleged violation of human rights for Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker. I almost want to call him Butker, but I think it's Butker. All he did was express his opinion and his own religious views at a private ceremony at a religious educational institution, and they want to kill him, folks. They're losing their shit. You see, diversity, equity, and inclusion does not want anyone to compete with it, to offer an additional opinion. Unbelievable, folks. I'm loving every minute of it. I want to see more of this happen. In fact, I've got something good for you here. The owner of the Chiefs. No, wait, it's better than that. Well, the owner has a beautiful wife, two beautiful daughters, a handsome son. Anyways, the wife and one of the daughters is defending Harrison Butker. It's kind of like Bueller. Anyone, Butker. Oh, shit. Now, man, that's going to be it. It's going to be Butker. Anyways, they defended him. And now that the owners have come out, remember, these are the Super Bowl champs. They already got their fucking money, folks. They had money to buy the Chiefs, and now they're making money hand over fist. They have fuck you money, even though they're kind and Christian. They won't say it, but that's the case. That's the case, folks. It's Friday. I have been going all week, and part of the gas in my tank has been brought to me by www.cafefe.com. And this is the deplorable coffee cup that I have. I'm deplorable? No, but I drink deplorable coffee at cafefe.com. Great coffee company, great people, very patriotic, and I absolutely am certain they stand behind Harrison Butker's free speech rights. It's just going to get nasty, folks. Anyways, the owners of that football company are Christian, and they believe in having one's own belief systems and being able to live your own life and express your opinion without being attacked, censored, canceled, destroyed, threatened, etc. But folks, get this. The NFL says, fuck you to Christians and traditional Americans. Now, I'm going to take a quick little paragraph from a Gateway pundit. They summed it up well. They say the woke NFL, however, distanced itself from Butker's comments. In a statement released by Jonathan Bean, NFL Senior Vice President and Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, the league clarified, quote, Harrison Butker spoke in his personal capacity. It should just fucking end right there. It should fucking end right there. That's where the NFL should have stopped and said, Harrison Butker spoke in his personal capacity. Mic drop. But instead, this jackass from the NFL continues. And by the way, I won't watch any of their fucking games. I won't buy any of their fucking merchandise. I will buy deplorable coffee from cafefe.com and drink it gladly and buy their merch, but I won't buy any NFL merch. They can fuck off. Anyways, the NFL league continued. Their spokesman, their diversity and inclusion spokesman said, his views do not reflect those of the NFL, which is committed to inclusion and believes it strengthens our league. Oh, so butt fucking in the showers strengthens your league. Licking urinals strengthens your league. Eating shit strengthens your league. Wearing women's clothing, fishnet stockings, and tucking your wiener between your legs strengthens the NFL. Reading pornography to children while dressed as a drag queen strengthens the NFL. Approving, supporting, and defending abortions strengthens the NFL. Sending American money over to other countries while we can't take care of our own veterans strengthens the NFL. Keeping the southern border open strengthens the NFL. See, everything that's woke, supporting Palestinian murderers, terrorists, and rapists strengthens the NFL. Everything that's woke, everything that's left-wing, everything that's extreme socialism is what the NFL is saying. They're committed to including that. He's such a fucking idiot. Anyways, folks, this is why our country is so jacked up. This is why shit has hit the fan. This is why you need to be prepared. This is why food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and means of self-defense is it. But folks, this is my opinion now. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has demonstrated that inclusion of the mentally disordered, freaks, or perverts, nobody has demonstrated that inclusion of them has improved anything. To the contrary, all we have seen since these fuckers came out of the closet, and especially since Trump became president, all we have seen is threats, violence, censorship, and canceling people's lives for believing differently than the freaks of the Democrat Party. And the NFL, as well as every LGBTQ tard, has excluded the normal, the sane, and traditional Americans. They want to exclude anyone, folks, different than them, and 99% of the world is nothing like them. Yet they still get up and defend that bullshit. But at least the NFL didn't say, yeah, well, we're getting rid of that guy and we're going to kick him out of the league. We're going to fine him for having an opinion. You see, they're on a fucking tightrope right now. They're on a tightrope. And it's dangerous. It's precarious. It truly is. In fact, this guy, this guy decided to donate his own facility. What am I talking about? Dave Ramsey, whose financial advice I don't really agree with. He's got some good stuff, but he's mostly just But he did, folks, shit all over the Hamas Palestinian terrorists, because they in Tennessee called a hotel where a pro-Israel conference was being held and badgered him and badgered him and badgered him and threatened them and threatened them and threatened them and badgered him and threatened him and badgered him until they canceled the pro-Israel conference. Folks, Palestinian terrorists threatened the venue. So Dave Ramsey, an American, said he will host the event at his place. So a big fuck you to Gaza, a fuck you to Hamas, and all you murdering fucks on the left out there. Remember, socialism, folks, has killed 100 million people, their own people, not to mention their enemies. And that's who is supporting all of this. Try me. Try and fuck with real America. They're having trouble, folks. I am glad you're a prepper. I'm glad you're an American. I'm glad you support freedom and liberty. If you're not an American, if you're an American in spirit living in Canada or Europe, the UK or Australia, we love you. And we support you guys too. In fact, I caught a news story, an opinion that Ireland is going to be the first country, and I'm going to share this with you for a second. Ireland is going to be the first country that openly goes to war with these invaders, these illegals that have been invited in by their government. These non-assimilating, anti-Western, anti-Christian, anti-white, anti-freedom. There's going to be a war. I think I agree with it. I think Ireland's going to be the first one. I mean, the Irish I love them. But if you want to fight, fucking Irish will fight over anything. In fact, that's the nickname. They're the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They fight with each other. They don't give a shit. They love to fight. And they got people there who do not love Ireland. In fact, last night, or maybe the night before, I can't remember what the story was saying, the Irish people showed up at one of these housing developments where they're trying to build and create housing for these immigrants, and they fucking burned it to the ground. Now, I'm not promoting or, shall we say, any of those bad things, harmful, dangerous, mean, boo-hoo-hoo, leftist shit over the fact that this happened. I'm not glamorizing and glorifying it or encouraging it. But I'm going to tell you, they've had this coming. They fucking had it coming. They have been shitting all over the Irish people, raping Irish women, stealing, murdering, killing, assaulting, home invasion, vehicle theft, ruining Ireland. And the Irish have had enough. Oh, it's hit the fan. It has hit the fucking fan. Now, yesterday I covered how Justice Alito was being reprimanded by lawyers, by law firms, by legal guilds and institutions. Folks, the American Bar Association is fucking liberal as fuck. They're crap. They're shit. They're scum. And groups like the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and the Southern Poverty Law Center. It should be the Southern Poverty Lawless Center. They're all left-wing shit. So, of course, they're going to go after Judge Alito. Well, what happened was his wife put the American flag up upside down. That was her political statement, not Justice Alito. But they wanted to try and castigate him. Well, it turns out that, Justice Alito explained it a little more. He said one of his nasty left-wing radical extremist neighbors called his wife a see you next Tuesday, C-U-N-T. So that's why she flew her flag upside down. She's being harassed by scumbag liberal maggots on her own street. They don't respect the fact that she is the wife of a Supreme Court justice. Well, I guess since we're not going to respect anyone anymore, fuck it, right? That's right. Just like in Congress, I described yesterday how Marge Taylor Greene went after a dipshit with fake eyelashes and then AOC. There's going to be blows. There are going to be blows. It's the Friday free-for-all, which means we're going to shotgun it back and forth. Bam, 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 bam. Don't think I forgot, Mr. Ooman. It is now your turn, and Mikey G is checking in. And he says, sounds like a plan. Like Hannibal of the A-Team. It says, I love it when a plan comes together. Ooh, man, what plan is Mikey G talking about?
I think he's talking about the Irish starting to kick some ass and not take it anymore.
Right. Well, the plan was to destroy Ireland. And the plan to save Ireland is coming together. England's in the same boat. Scotland is putting up with a lot of this woke shit. And the plan, I think, is fighting back. Just fighting back. Fighting for what is right. And it's starting to have some grassroots. It's starting to find support in Congress. Now, I don't trust Congress at all, man. I think they're full of shit. And they're just getting some political points and they want to get reelected. I don't trust them. I hope they do well, but I hope we keep the fight in there. Anyways, here we are.
Yes, sir. I think that, Twisted Sister song is going to make a big comeback. We're not going to take it anymore.
We're not going to take it. Yeah, I tell you. They got another song called The Price, which is kind of a catchy tune. But yeah, they don't like it when we turn around and use their shit on them, do they?
No, they don't.
Yeah. Anyways, you have any more? You love it when a plan comes together?
Not on that one, no.
Okay, happy Friday, man.
Happy Friday.
Okay, yes, I love it. Folks, my plan, your plan, I hope, is to be prepared. That's the plan. We know what's happening. We know what's coming. And we're going to continue to get lied to. Like this piece of gaslighting genius. The jackass governor of California. His name is Gavin Newsom. He's the nephew of 90 proof Nancy Pelosi. He's the nephew of Paul, I think I've got a hammer in my ass, Pelosi. By the way, the guy that attacked Paul has 30 years in prison coming. I wish we got that kind of justice when politicians violate their oaths. Anyways, Gavin Newsom is bragging today that they, California, are the, quote, national model on solving homelessness. Fuck. Talk about gaslighting. I mean, that just works too, because, you know, Gavin Newsom let California burn to the millions of acres burned. He's such a piece of shit. What is the national model on fixing the homeless problem? Last time I drove down into Sacramento and through the Bay Area, and that was back in the early summer of 2020. There were homeless encampments on all the streets, under every overpass, and all the exit and entrance ramps to the freeway. 10 cities. I can't believe that it's any better. And I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I think, let me put this out there. Folks, pay attention. They keep flying the Michelle Obama flag of she could be the next president. The people are rejecting him and his broad shoulders and muscular back. Not an attractive woman by any stretch. Anyways, Michelle Obama, no, I think that they're going to have to get rid of, let's go Brandon, Potato Joe. I think they're going to have to get rid of him. He is failing. They're going to probably try and have him debate Trump. Trump is going to make mincemeat of him. Everyone's going to feel sorry. Joe's going to have a heart attack and die on the stage. How much? I mean, wouldn't that be fascinating if Joe Biden keeled over during the debate? They would blame Trump for harassing him. In fact, they might charge him with attempted murder or accessory to murder. Who knows what? They're fucking idiots. But I think they want to bring Gavin Newsom to the front, the top. But the fight is on. The plan of waking everyone up. Maybe that's our plan, Uman, is waking people up. I sure hope so. Okay, let's see what's up next. What do you guys want to talk about out there? And thank you again, like I said, for supporting the channel. And it's name redacted. And he says the cult. That is the Democrat Party, the Uniparty, the corporate political world. I call them the cult of death, the religion of death, the Democrats mainly. Anyways, he says the cult wields and weaponizes the words diversity and inclusion while not doing it. No one ever openly questions that. Well, fuck, dude, I just did. Hey, man, I question their shit all the time. Maybe you mean nobody in the mainstream media. Well, you and I, Mr. Redacted, we know the mainstream media isn't going to question their masters. Remember, the mainstream media is paid commercial advertising fees. That's how they get their money, is commercials. So if they piss off Target, a woke corporation, or Dick's Sporting Goods, a woke corporation, or Coca-Cola, a woke corporation, or Google, a woke corporation, or Microsoft, a woke corporation. See where I'm going with all this? If you start questioning one bit of the diversity, equity, inclusion, or what's the other one? The financial investment one, Mr. Uman, where BlackRock and Vanguard are concerned. They want everything to be social economic governance, ESG, ecological, economical, whatever the fuck they are. The ESG crap. In other words, woke corporate investing practices. If you don't become a woke company, then Vanguard or BlackRock is going to drop you and make your stock crash. Well, who the fuck is it? Our plan, name redacted, our plan, Mr. Uman, has been anytime these woke fucksticks reveal themselves, we ban them. Bud Light, toast. Budweiser, gone. Anheuser-Busch, fuck you. InBev, you're done. Right? What other companies? Woke needs to be broke. Woke will make itself go broke. Look at what Boeing is doing to itself. Talk about crash landing the stock value by crash landing your planes. It's not working, folks. In fact, even the schools are getting their asses kicked. In California, a Christian teacher got fired by the school district. Why? Because she refused to use a student's preferred pronouns. And she got fired. Well, she kicked the teeth in of this school district. She sued the living shit out of them and kicked their teeth in, legally speaking. And more lawsuits are coming. Now, the reason I won't use anyone's manufactured, made-up bullshit pronouns is the same reason I don't talk to schizophrenics' invisible friends. It's the same reason. It's not real. Just because they believe in it doesn't make it reality. And if it did, all they have to do is take up the Prepared Mind Challenge, identify as a lion, and go in the lion cage. That's the Prepared Mind Woke Challenge. You show me a bunch of woke tards that identify as lions that go into the lion's cage. And folks, I don't mean after they've had 500 pounds of steak. Just let them live in the lion cage for a few days and see how that works out. That's the Prepared Mind Challenge. I tell ya, it's good stuff. But it is the free-for-all Friday, folks. I'm going to mix it up and talk all kinds of shit, but it's up to you, right? You guys also. What's on your mind? What's happening? Mr. Uman, who is next? And it's Badass Diving Frog. He says, hey, John, today my husky, a husky, folks, is a dog. And I take it, Badass Diving Frog, it's a real dog and not a friend who identifies as a husky. He says, my husky ran out of the room crying after walking in the room and seeing a giant headshot of Hillary and Pelosi on the big screen. See, dogs do sense evil. Yes, they do. Dogs understand evil. Animals and children understand evil. If you watch Biden, go watch a collage of Biden groping on children and sniffing on children and groping on wives. Watch those videos. Those kids are extremely uncomfortable around Biden. At least the ones with good sense and moral decency. Anyways, it's just these fucking people. But what's crazy is, folks, understand, they own Washington, D.C. The Democrats and Rhino Republicans and the Uniparty, if we just want to call them that, own Washington, D.C. They own Congress, the White House, and they're trying to own the Supreme Court. 90% of the time they do. Just the Supreme Court on the side of abortion said, nah, it's a state issue. Second Amendment, they're like, read it, fuckers. That's what it says. Other than that, though, it seems like the Supreme Court is, they're not fighting off a lot of this shit. A lot of this woke shit. They need to get rid of all of these. Well, for example, where was it the other day? What city was it where $2.3 billion was provided to renovate an airport? And white companies were told, don't even bother. I just had it with this nonsense. I've had it with the nonsense, folks. I've had it with the reverse discrimination, the two-faced lying. In fact, get this, and thank you, Badass Diving Frog, on The View, idiot mouthpiece Sarah Haynes. You know what she did? She had to attack Catholics. And the only way she could make them look bad was to try and say they're as bad as the cult-like extreme religions of the Middle East. Oh, you mean like the Palestinian Hamas jihadis? I don't remember Catholics anytime in the last 100 years flying in on paragliders and coming in on motorcycles and trucks and murdering people wholesale with full auto machine guns and kidnapping people and raping women and dragging their bodies through the streets and disemboweling pregnant women and killing their babies. And I'm sorry if this sounds awful, but this is exactly what Hamas has done on October 7th and why the fighting got way out of hand. But for this bitch, Sarah Haynes, this see you in next Tuesday, for this to say that people who participate in traditional Latin Mass is a cult that is like the extreme religions of the Middle East. But what's amazing here is she just pissed in her own mouth, which I'm sure turns on most liberals and rhinos and Washington, D.C. So in order to insult traditional Catholics, she attacks them by likening them to the friends of the Democrat Party, the Palestinian terrorists themselves. She likens them to people they like to put them down. In other words, this is typical Democrat hypocrisy and wanting it both ways. They want to support the terrorism and extremism of the left-wing, pro-Palestinian Hamas murderous scumbags, anti-Israel types. They want to support them at the same time put down Catholics by claiming they're just like the people they like. It's a giant what the fuck. It's another case of gaslighting America, except really the only people who watch The View are a bunch of liberal white women. Idiots. Every last one of them. And they are insulting to everybody on The View. Anyways, fuck. It's just what a day. What a day. Let us continue. Let us continue. Mr. Uman, I just covered The View. I figured I would like to see what you have to say about what's going on. Houston, Houston, we've got a problem. Uman says Houston area and parts of Louisiana are experiencing some serious SHTF. Yes, they are, folks. SHTF. And Uman says, if the naders, meaning tornadoes, the naders and 100 mile per hour, only 100, folks, 100 mile per hour winds weren't bad enough last night. Another round of storms are rolling through the Houston, Louisiana, Texas area today. Uman is saying the prediction is power will be out for days. And that's not a prepared mind prediction or an Uman prediction. It's the state of Texas. It's the energy grid, the power grid. Hope our folks down that way are prepared and safe. I hope so as well. Folks, get your questions and comments in. This is the Free for All Friday. This is your chance to bring up topics. But I want to talk about this one a little more. We got Darcy T in Texas. We've got lots of Texas supporters, including Chin Music, and lots of people in the Southwest. But yeah, I hope all are well, all are safe. I think Shelley Chavers is in Texas, or she was born there. Anyways, we got a lot of great supporters and prepared mind, patriotic Americans in Texas. And I tell you, it's pretty scary. These are just 100-mile-an-hour winds. right? And the reaction, I think, is very important for preppers to understand what's going on, right? They're calling it the apocalypse, right? And residents are fleeing these areas in terror. 4 people have died, at least 4 people. 4 people. That's the apocalypse. People are running in terror. Folks, as far as I'm concerned, this was just some normal Texas, America weather. It happens a lot. I mean, it shouldn't cause people to panic. Tornado comes through, rips up power lines, you're out of power for a few days. You should have generator and or solar backup. You just should. You should have extra fuel to run your generator and protect yourself and your family, your neighborhood. Anyways, this type of weather is not normal for people from Chicago and California. So I believe it's the transplants, and I mean transplants from California and other blue cities. They're the ones who are panicking. And if they're panicking now, wait until shit goes Mad Max. Then they're they have no idea what hard times are like. But thoughts and prayers for the people of Texas. Mr. Uman.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, this is the kind of real shit hits the fan that we should be preparing for every day. And the most likely one we're going to have to deal with. I was having another conversation today about how, everybody all of a sudden during the shutdowns all looked at us like we're a little less crazy. And everybody took a real big interest in prepping. But because of the short attention span of folks, after a couple months, it all went back to normal, and it went back to, that can never happen again.
We don't need that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's just a great example for people to look at and say, hey, look at same thing happened, through Tennessee again, or Kentucky, Tennessee. Over the last year, we've had several roll through there. And people are constantly
not uncommon, right? It's not uncommon, man.
Yeah, a lot of people are dealing with power outages and not having the ability to go to a store to get more stuff to feed yourself for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, even rainstorms cause flooding and shit to hit the fan. Not to mention snowstorms, ice storms, polar vortexes. What's the other one they have?
What is it? Cannibal hailstorms now. Everything is cannibal this year. We had a cannibal
cyclone bomb.
Yeah, cyclone bombs. I said everything is cannibal this year. We had the cannibal eclipse. We have the cannibal cicadas. We have I don't know. I don't know where these people come up with this crap.
They've got to have these dangerous, crazy sounding names. Well, with COVID, they went to the Delta variant and then the Omicron.
Omicron
kind of
sounds much scary.
It is crazy, but I agree with you. The most likely cause of shit hitting the fan is a natural weather event.
Yeah. That's the most likely one most of us will have to deal with. And some of us will have to deal with multiple times in a short period of time.
Well, here's another one, right? I'm having a heat wave, tropical heat wave. What fucking decade was that from? The 60s?
Probably the 60s,
or the 50s, right? Heat waves can cause the power grid to be overtaxed, blow out the system. You're out of power for an indeterminate amount of time. Why aren't you prepared? Not you, man, but the rest of America.
Yeah, they were having that problem in Texas where they were having mandatory brownouts or restricted electrical usage because there was so much heat that the grid couldn't keep up because these geniuses converted 20% of their power to solar and wind.
Oh, and while we're on that fucking topic, ESG, and environmental social governance. I got it in my head right finally. In India, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's in India. They had a floating solar power farm. Have you heard of this?
Okay. No, I didn't hear
They're
this.
on a giant floating, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of floating solar panels, all tied together, tied into their grid, got destroyed by a storm. So how does that help the power grid to lose that power? All the investment there, not to mention polluting the fucking ocean. They want to cover the ocean in solar panels now. Fucking unbelievable. And it failed. Not to mention I watched videos all week of the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of windmill blades that cannot be recycled, have no purpose. They're being shoved into landfills, and they're making landfills just for them. Amazing.
Yeah. And then
amazing.
And don't forget, over the winter, they had that one big solar farm that got hit by the hailstorm, and it destroyed something like 20,000 solar panels. This solar farm was supposed to have a life expectancy of like 25 to 40 years. Yeah, 25 to 30 or 40 years, and it didn't make it 5 years. So where's your ROI on that one?
Before the weather got to them. I'm sorry, before it got to its useful life. Weather defeated the ones in the ocean. It defeated the solar panels with hail. It's defeating them in Europe. They can't get reliable sun because it's fucking cold. And people need to understand, America has this belief that everyone's at the same latitude. They're not. Europe is the same latitude as Canada.
Right.
Way the fuck up there. Right. So yeah, not much sun. So their solar and wind isn't working. The ice storms stop the wind generators.
Well, ice storms stop the solar as well. When those panels ice up, they can't generate any electric.
In Texas, as much as I love Texas, they thought they would go green, and they've just fucked themselves and the people. So we need to be prepared just for weather. Not to mention communists and fruitcakes.
Yeah, there's just so many things that are unreliable about the green energy. Not to mention, I saw a report today too. It was actually a CNN article talking about how as much progress as we've made on. Hold on, I got to shut this door. I got a lawnmower running out here.
Uh-oh. Everyone, in case you didn't know, Ooman is a world-class lawnmower racer. He does flat track.
So sorry.
I just told everyone you're a world-class lawnmower racer.
Oh, yeah. And lawnmower tractor pulling contest, too.
All right. Continue, if you will.
No, so anyway, I couldn't believe that the article said CNN on the top. And it said something about how, we've been making great progress towards moving towards all this green, clean energy. 2024 has not seen the rate of additional solar panels and wind farms installations. And there's a big concern about the availability of the rare earth minerals to make all this stuff. Apparently, the mining has not been able to keep up to get all this graphite and lithium and everything else that they need to make these things. So, it's their dream of converting everything is just
electrifying the world, right?
Yeah, it's not that way. The dream of doing it through solar and wind and all these renewable resources just isn't physically possible. If you can't get the raw materials to make this stuff, not to mention the environmental damage you're doing to get this stuff, how are you going to achieve that goal? The only clean option I see for electric is nuclear. And they hate that.
Well, no, they love it now. Nuclear is now green.
Yeah, well, they used to hate that. Now they have to love it. Yeah.
Now they're looking around going, well, if wind and solar doesn't do it, how are we going to do it? Yeah, it's nuclear. And I tell you what, I have, over the last 10 years, changed my attitude towards nuclear. And it came basically through education. I didn't My worry was not nuclear waste as much as it was nuclear accidents.
Right. Like you got in Fukushima.
Chernobyl type shit.
Yeah.
But I've gotten past that. They're shut down. Everything's pretty good right now. Anyways, but yeah, we'll never get there. And it's not only can we not get there, the electrification of the world, either the production of power, the transmission of the power, or the utility of it. In other words, cars. We don't have enough raw materials to get there, nor to sustain and replace it over time. It's really a poor system. But here we are, man.
I'm trying to find that meme I saw here. Let me read this meme. This is one I sent you the other day. It says, imagine we lived in a world where all cars were EVs, and then along comes a new invention, the internal combustion engine.
Wait. I must have you stop. Folks, okay. This is fucking incredible. It's brilliant. I mean, this is not just a meme. This is an incredible statement about the mentality and idiocy, and then also the facts and reality. You're gonna love this, Mr. Uman. I'm sorry. I wanted to preface. This is fucking great. This is okay. This is 100%. And go.
Okay, and then came along a new invention called the internal combustion engine. Think how well they would sell a vehicle half the weight, half the price, that will almost quarter the damage done to the environment, to the roads. A vehicle that can be refueled in 1/10 of the time it takes to refuel and recharge an electric vehicle. It can travel 4 times the distance in all weather conditions. It does not rely on environmentally damaging use of non-renewable rare earth elements to power it, and uses far less steel and other materials. Just think how excited people would be for such technology. It would sell like hotcakes.
That is just amazing. Yeah. It refuels faster and you can go farther. All weather conditions good, whether it's cold or hot. It's cheaper. It's more economical. It's better for the earth. But, carbon bad.
Yeah, it's lighter weight. It does less damage to the roads. You're going to use less petroleum products such as rubber for your tires because they're not going to wear out as fast.
Correct. All those things. You
can dispose of them and recycle them completely, very easily and cheaply.
Yeah. It's amazing. If the EV had come first and then you found out you could get something for half the price that lasts twice as long, half as good and better for the environment, yeah.
It would be the next industrial revolution.
And it should be. I'll tell you what's going to happen, though, Mr. Uman. I think in the next 10 years, they're going to wipe out and go through this phase. I see this EV thing as a phase where it'll find its niche, but we're probably going to go to hydrogen-powered automobiles. I think that is going to be. Huh?
I don't think that's an option. I don't think that will work.
You don't?
Not unless they make some very, very big advances in fuel cells, because hydrogen, number one, again, we don't have the distribution network. It's very expensive to produce. You only get 2/3 the energy out of hydrogen that you have to put into it to make it. Now, compound that with the fact that you have to carry this stuff at something like 10,000 PSI, and it's extremely volatile. It's as bad as if you get into a bad accident and something were to happen to one of these storage tanks, it's going to be as bad as, when these EVs catch on fire. So
I'm gonna take a little turn off here because I'm sure nobody has heard this. Everyone knows who Bob Lazar is. Yeah. He's the one who exposed and made Area 51 common knowledge, household knowledge. Bob Lazar has been running his Corvette from back then on hydrogen ever since then. What is it, 30 fucking years ago? It is not a standard hydrogen, shall we say, fuel system. I watched he did a complete video on his hydrogen powered Corvette, and it's
You have to be able to generate the hydrogen and not do what they're doing right now by filling these hydrogen tanks.
Right. He's got tanks, but they're full of a material
Water.
that absorbs hydrogen safety. So you got the safety part covered. He uses solar panels to create his own hydrogen. So it doesn't cost him anything other than the few solar panels. It's quite interesting. There are solutions, is all I'm saying. And there is technology, but this idea that it's going to be fast and easy, no. But it's not going to be the EV. The EV is not going to solve our problems.
There was a big thing back in the late 90s, I believe, with hydrogen fuel cells, where it was a conversion process where it converted the water into hydrogen in real time as you needed it.
Yeah.
And that technology just magically disappeared.
Well, I put that on both of my Ford diesels, as you know. I got 16 and 20% respectively on both of them. The non-aspirated got 20 and the turbocharged diesel got 16% better just by generating hydrogen off of that. And yeah, it kind of went away.
Yeah, well, the one I remember was at an auto show, and I believe Mitsubishi had one in a minivan, and the minivan was completely powered by the hydrogen fuel cell. And somehow, they were saying, oh, well, the challenge is we have to be able to downsize it because right now it's still too big and expensive to put into mass production on these, consumer type vehicles. And then all of a sudden it just vanished into the ether.
I know what's good. I mean, if we look at history as our guide and not just my opinion, the reason I believe is because they meaning the powers that be, the oil companies, energy companies, government, they can't control it and regulate it and make as much money off of it.
Right.
So they want some mass distribution system like hydrogen plants, or anyways, what's the answer, man?
Oil. Drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, drill. Oil is going to have to continue to be there. Anyways, yeah, it's an interesting topic, but yeah, it's if we introduced what makes the world work and made America and the world great, reintroduced it again and ignored the carbon issue, people would be all for it. But we've been villainized and also victimized by this environmental social government's crap and the environmentalist crap. Well, that's going to be a contributing factor to SHTF. Period.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. Yep.
Anyways, good deal. Well, shit.
All right.
You're on. You may as well finish the show out with me, dude.
All right.
Now this is interesting. North Carolina Senate. It's not going to be a law. It's just the Senate has voted to ban face masks in public, and of course the left wing went nuts. Did you catch this?
I did not see that particular story. No.
Okay. I say they should ban face masks, all masks, keffiyehs, and any terrorist clothing style. It has always been that people who are concealing their identity are doing so while committing the worst kinds of crimes: robbery, rape, murder, looting, arson. They want to hide their identity. So I say, I think it's interesting. It's an interesting discussion to have. Am I free to wear a mask anywhere and hide my identity, or should I not be allowed to? What's your opinion?
Oh, I don't think you should be allowed to either. If 5 years ago you would have walked into a bank or a government building with a mask or some other kind of face covering on, they would have made you take it off. They would have thought you were nuts or that you're there to rob the damn place.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden today, crime is up. In the use of these masks and everything, you could walk into a place and start robbing it and be well underway before anybody realizes you're robbing it because everybody's used to seeing everybody with their faces covered.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the old Western bandits, they pull the kerchief up over and then they rob the train,
Yeah.
It's criminal. So burqas and I don't know what the other fucking headdresses are that they wear. Look, if we have a system that relies on honesty and openness, and they have a system that relies on being sneaky and shitty.
Yeah, and
And
disguising
people steal
themselves.
them. What's that?
And disguising themselves.
Disguising themselves. Yeah.
And the other thing that the masks do is it also gives them I don't know if it's false sense, but it gives them a sense of anonymity and
Yes.
emboldens them to be more violent, more law breaking, and whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's the mob mentality, especially when you mix anonymity and after the sun goes down, darkness. It
Yeah.
allows them to act like complete little mongrels and get away with it. It empowers them, but in a very negative way for the rest of the planet.
Yeah, that's why people would slip away into the darkness after committing a crime. You never
Yeah.
heard anybody slipping away into the sunlight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a professor at a college campus said, and he came out and he said what everyone already fucking knows. But now I think that school administrators are figuring out that they're targets of these well, masked and kefayed and everything else, these idiots. So the administration is having the police crack down and get them off campus. And the professors are now starting to speak out, even though a lot of them support it. This one came out and said these protesters want America destroyed. And I thought, really? No shit, huh? But yeah, why, Mr. Uman, is it taking all of this for them to finally wake up?
Because they are personally now being threatened and feeling unsafe.
Yes, sir. It's funny how they feel unsafe, and so they want to call who to protect them?
They want to call the defund the police.
See, you just stole that piece of ham right off my sandwich. A piece of ham that I don't think the jihadis will steal. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. They want to defund the police, but then they're like, who's going to protect us? And what was incredible is even in 2020, every time one of the little maggots got hurt by someone kicking their ass, they would call for the police to protect them.
Yeah.
But it's like, didn't you just throw a brick at that cop's head?
Yeah, and didn't you just scream police abuse, get the hell out of here, pigs, and all this other stuff?
Yeah, all cops are bastards, right?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden somebody steps on your pinky toe and you want the police to come and arrest them for an assault.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculous.
Well, so let's continue. The Secret Service, right? The United States government Secret Service. They had that Secret Service agent, presumably a woman, probably a guy doing the weenie tuck, who was working for Camel Toes Harris, right? She attacked somebody, it, whatever the fuck it was, attacked another Secret Service agent, not any of the public, not Camel Toes, but got in a fight with them and then started throwing maxi pads at them. And then another fight broke out. Not only did it get its pistol taken from it, handcuffed and taken to the fucking hospital, one of the other Secret Service agents was sent to the hospital as well. So now 39 Secret Service agents have signed a piece of paper demanding an investigation into the diversity, equity, and inclusion policies of Biden's Secret Service, because they're now saying this is a national security threat. Having these diversity hires in there, these weirdo freaks bringing them in.
Wouldn't it be great if the entire Secret Service walked off the job and left them with their DEI hires?
I mean, what gets me is now they're screaming parts of, like we just mentioned, you and I, that professors are like, holy shit, we're in trouble. We're going to call, we want the police, get rid of these people. Now the law enforcement in Washington, D.C. is like, you know what? This is a fucking threat. Having these wild, wacky, fucked in the head, perverted idiots in charge of protecting the president and vice president, dangerous. And it's like, yeah, you bet. But why is it fine for the military to be, I don't even know what we want to call it, woking itself? How is that not a national security threat?
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? We're finding out.
They're finding out too. I mean, they want their cake and they want to eat it too. I mean, they live in such a fantasy world that they think that if you take all these things away, everything will be, rainbows, unicorns, and singing Kumbaya around the campfire while smoking a doobie. You know, I mean, they don't realize what the true nature of humans is. I mean, we as humans are conquerors and fighters, and the whole nature of humans is to take and expand and get more. You know what I mean? And
self-preservation at the expense of others.
Yeah, and you know, that's why the world has been at war throughout civilization and even before civilization. You know, everybody's fighting for their territories. They want the better hunting ground. They want the nicer cave to live in. Yes. You know, I mean, it's human nature, and you're not going to change that because, you know, you want to go and decide that now humans are just going to go hug everything out. You know, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Unless there is equal justice, equally applied justice, and rules that are equally applied to everybody.
Yeah. Same standards for everyone.
That's how you keep the human animal, and I'll call it an animal, in line, is they know there's consequences for bad action. So therefore, if you want to get more for yourself, you have to go out and earn it the right way. You can't lie, cheat, steal, threaten, extort, bribe to get your way, right? But what do we have now? We have a system of inequality, unequally applied, and the people in Washington and other governments, of course, are enriching themselves at the expense of others because there's no consequences. Therefore, we're going down. Right?
And it doesn't take long for communities to realize that the consequences for certain bad actions are not being enforced, and they're not, you know, being prosecuted or even, you know, getting more than a slap on the wrist. So what happens in those areas? The criminal elements in those areas figure that out real quick, and crime starts escalating. And just because you're not reporting it doesn't mean crime isn't rising.
Right. 2020, they started rioting and they got away with it. Then they tried it in multiple cities and they were allowed to get away with it. They got even worse. They started lighting shit on fire. A few people got arrested, let right back out. They told everyone, hey, they're not arresting us for real. So then they started burning, looting, murdering, attacking police, trying to burn courthouses, burning down police stations, you know, threatening, assaulting homeowners, assaulting and murdering store owners because there were no consequences.
Yeah. And then when all these Walgreens and Home Depots and Walmarts and Targets all decide to close down and move out of certain neighborhoods because the crime rates are too high or their cost of providing security is too high, the theft rates are too high, and then everybody stands around going, where are we going to get our food? Where are we going to get our prescriptions? You know, it's like, really? You don't see the cause and result of this whole situation here? Yep. You can't make that connection and tie that all together?
They can't. So that speaks volumes about intelligence.
Yep.
If you can't think critically and understand and see cause and effect, here we are. I mean, get this. There's a chance. Florida, once again, my home state now, Representative to Congress, Anna Paulina Luna, she basically let Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, know that he might be arrested for failing to answer and comply with the subpoena. Now, I don't really think it's going to happen. It sounds great. I want action, action, action. Imagine this, though, man. If, and this is a fantasy, if Hunter was arrested, Merrick Garland was arrested, all of them, right? The world would go, oh, shit, they mean business. And everyone would straighten the fuck up. But they're not going to be arrested. They won't be prosecuted, so we're going to continue. I anticipate and expect this to continue.
And it's pronounced Florida.
Florida. Part I'm in, we say Florida. I don't.
Oh, you're in the ritzy part now?
Yes.
the highfalutin part of Florida?
We have the nicest bunkers in my area.
No, anyway, I mean, if you started seeing people getting arrested for corruption and bribery and inside trading and all these things, those government positions would stop attracting people that had the bad intentions of wanting to do those things.
That's
Because
absolutely
now there's a consequence, and that consequence should be even more severe for the people doing it in government, because they have been entrusted by the people to
That's
act in the best faith in, best interest of the people.
Yeah, it's
And
not just crime.
that violation is way more severe than a standard money laundering or bribery situation.
I agree 100%, man. The crime against the people as the sovereign, as well as failing to live up to the trust, embedded, given it. It's just it's worse. You're right. It's absolutely worse. Should be 2 or 3 times the penalty. Instead, they're allowed to get away with it. Well, we seem to cover everything. This Sunday is Sunday Night Live, the Zoo, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's coming. And we have a surprise. We have a
special unboxing session going to happen on Sunday. So
going to be an SHTF unboxing.
Yeah, we got the little package from Opie Waddell, who was kind enough to send John a little something, and I threw something into the box as well. So John will get to find out what's in there on Sunday. I wouldn't let him open it without us.
Yeah, that's that. I obeyed. I have no clue what's going on. I know there's Opie Waddell's donation, and we'll give it a good good viewing, shall we say. I don't know what else is in the box. A little scary. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for another great week. I want to thank everybody for signing up and supporting us through memberships on subscribestar.com and the preparedmind.club. And then I will see you, Mr. Ooman, on Sunday. And I'll see all of you as well. And we're going to have one hell of a show. There's going to be some wild shit happening this weekend.
I think so.
Mark my words.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for coming out to play, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you again, Mr. Ooman.